Hey, I'm Jay.
And I'm John, and today we're going to be talking about different positions on the tennis court for doubles. And our first topic is one up and one back positioning. So basically, we're going to have the service partner, or this is the server right here, and this is the server's partner, we could say, right?
Yeah.
Then we have the returner who's over here, and the returner's partner is going to stand right about here. Oops, returner's partner, not returner. Okay, there we go. Returner's partner. Let's look at each of these positions here. So, where do you stand when you're serving? Do you have a spot that you look at when you serve from the deuce side? That's that right side.
What I typically do, John, is I take the center mark or center hash mark and the doubles line, and I try to stand in the middle between those two lines.
Okay, I like that. So here's that spot. So right in the middle. So that's a good. Yeah. Okay, good.
How about the net player, John? If you're my partner, where would you stand while I'm serving?
Okay, I think it depends certainly on the strength of my partner's serve. So if you were serving, Jay, I would be standing up. I could stand up pretty close because I could expect a weaker reply from my opponent, from our opponent. If they're pretty handy with the lob, though, it's gonna make my position come back, and I have to respect that. If they show me several times that they can hit that lob, not just one lob, but they're gonna have to show me over and over again before I'm gonna give up this position, because it's a good put-away position, especially with a strong server, right?
Yeah. How about, John, if the server were to hit it, their second serve was a little weaker?
Mm-hmm.
Would you stay up there in the middle of the box? Would you go all the way back, or what would you do?
Those are some options, certainly. I mean, I go as far back as the service box line,
Right.
and if I find that they're able to hit my feet, I might decide with my partner's approval. I don't want to insult them by coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Ask them if they prefer if I stay back. Okay, and that would be just get back and stay back out of no man's land. So now you're basically both covering that, your own half of the court, right there.
Okay. Moving on, John, to the returner position. Where do you normally stand when you return a serve in doubles?
Well, it's going to be dependent on the server, in my opinion. What I like to do is I like to take the service box line right here and here, okay, and cut that in half, okay? All right, and then I'll draw a line from the center of the service box there all the way to where my opponent was or is, and that's going to determine where I stand. If they like to serve from further out, that you can see that's going to change the line and change my position too. So I would end up coming back over here. If they serve closer to center, then I'll be moving that way to return serve. Okay.
Now, in terms of returning serve, John, there's been some question on how far back do I stand? Do I start behind the baseline? Do I start inside the baseline? How do you determine that?
Strength of the serve, right?
Okay.
But don't be too stubborn to give up baseline. I mean, I've found myself in that position before where I didn't want to give up giving up territory by backing up and being a little too stubborn with that, and then missing a bunch of returns. I'll ask my partner to come back with me if I'm not hitting great returns, and I'll play deeper behind the baseline. Which brings us to the return of serve partner.
Yeah.
Here's your pen back, Jay.
The return partner stands typically, I like a step or two behind the service line area, and they're going to do several things. Number one, they're going to help their partner look at the serve and see where it's landing to call the ball. I'd rather have the returner focusing on the ball hitting it over the net rather than focusing on if it lands in or not. So I'm going to give my partner a chance to look at the line. The other thing this allows is
just this line.
I'm sorry. No.
Or the whole court.
The whole court is fine. Okay. The whole box. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then this player, the returner's partner, once the return, if the return goes back past the service box area by my opponent, if it goes by them and they can't get to it, then I'm going to have my returner partner move slightly forward into the box a few steps. Mm-hmm. If for some reason the returner doesn't make the ball past the net player, this person here is now going to back up a step and maybe move to the middle and that allows them to play better defense.
Mhm.
When returner's partner stands here, I don't like that, because now if a ball comes from the returner right to the net player, this player can hit a huge shot, and this player doesn't have enough time to react. They're pretty much a sitting duck.
And it's a bigger gap right here too, isn't it?
Yeah, big gap.
So they could hit it behind them even.
Right.
With the player standing back, it's better defense.
Right. So if this player's standing here, what John's saying is there's only about this much room where they can hit the ball. It's a narrow window for them to hit if it does go to the net player. Of course, the safest shot is to get the returner to hit it back deep cross court away from the net player.
Mhm.
So that's one up and one back. And typically we see a lot of that as the point starts and double.
Yeah, probably the most common formation. Certainly as you start, but even as points finish, we're seeing a lot of snow out there. That's pretty cool.
Wow, it's really snowing.
Well, I think that's pretty good. Check out our next videos on two back.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Check out this. Wow. Snowing. Are we closed?
We're open.